Okay, so get this. You want to buy Bitcoin, but like you don't want anyone knowing about it.
Right.
You want to keep it on the DL.
Yeah.
It's like joining a secret society.
Mm-hmm.
But the password is all this crazy string of numbers and letters.
Yeah.
We're diving deep today into the world of anonymous Bitcoin.
Right.
We've got this article you sent over as our guide.
That's a good one.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
So buying Bitcoin without leaving a trace, is that even possible?
Well, it really taps into, I think, a basic desire for privacy that a lot of people have in our digital age.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, think about it. We leave these digital footprints everywhere we go online.
Everywhere.
And for some people, buying Bitcoin anonymously, it's about taking back control of their data.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like your own little secret hideaway for your money,
Right.
away from like the data collectors and corporations.
Right.
But so how do you even do it? How do you buy Bitcoin without leaving a trace?
Well,
This article mentions this thing called KYC.
right.
And apparently that's the first hurdle we got to jump over.
Yeah. KYC stands for Know Your Customer.
Okay.
And it's basically how most financial institutions verify your identity.
Gotcha.
So imagine Bitcoin is like a VIP club.
Oh, yeah.
Most clubs want to see your ID at the door.
Right.
That's KYC in action. It's all about, preventing fraud,
Right.
making sure everything's above board.
So to buy Bitcoin anonymously,
Yeah.
we got to find the secret underground clubs
Mhm.
that don't care who you are as long as you have that Bitcoin password.
Exactly.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right.
But are there actually ways to do that?
Absolutely. The article outlines 3 main methods, and each has its pros and cons.
Okay, lay it on me.
The first one, decentralized exchanges, or DEXs,
Mm-hmm.
are kind of like venturing into the Wild West of crypto trading.
Ooh, sounds a little risky.
It can be.
Tell me more.
So DEXs are platforms where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies
Okay.
directly with other users
Uh-huh.
without a central authority calling the shots.
Okay.
It's like a giant online marketplace where everyone meets anonymously to trade.
Okay.
No need to show your ID or reveal your identity.
So it's like a digital flea market for Bitcoin,
You got it.
but instead of haggling over vintage clothes, we're trading digital gold.
Right.
But isn't that kind of risky? Like, what's stopping people from just running off with my Bitcoin?
Well, that's where smart contracts come in.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, these are self-executing agreements
Uh-huh.
written in code that automatically enforce the terms of the trade.
Okay.
So once you agree on a price, the smart contract makes sure that the Bitcoin is exchanged securely
Gotcha.
without anyone needing to trust a third party.
So it's like having a digital escrow agent
Exactly.
built into the system itself.
Right.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But I gotta admit, all this talk about smart contracts and decentralized platforms making my head spin a little.
Yeah.
Is this method really suitable for someone who's like just starting out with Bitcoin?
DEXs can be a bit tricky for beginners to navigate, especially if you're not familiar with blockchain technology or cryptocurrency wallets.
Yeah.
It does require a bit of technical know-how.
Okay, so maybe not for the faint of heart.
Right.
All right, what about the second method that the article mentioned?
Okay.
These peer-to-peer platforms sound a little more user-friendly?
They can be.
Yeah.
P2P platforms connect buyers and sellers directly, cutting out the middleman.
Okay.
The article specifically mentions 3 BISC,
Okay.
HODL, HODL,
Gotcha.
and Agora Desk.
Okay.
Each has its own little quirks, so
Uh-huh.
it really depends on your specific needs and priorities.
Ooh, a Bitcoin matchmaking service.
Kind of.
Okay. Spill the tea. What are the differences between these platforms? Which one should I swipe right on?
Well, if you're really serious about anonymity,
Okay.
BISC might be your best bet.
Okay.
It uses the Tor network, which is like a secret tunnel for your internet traffic,
Oh, wow.
making it incredibly difficult to track your online activity.
Wait, so it's like browsing the dark web for Bitcoin?
In a way, yeah.
I'm intrigued, but also slightly terrified.
Understandable.
What about the other two?
So HODL is known for its escrow service.
Uh-huh.
So it acts as a neutral third party,
Okay.
holding the Bitcoin until both the buyer and seller fulfill their end of the deal.
Gotcha.
This reduces the risk of getting scammed,
Right.
which is always a concern when you're dealing with anonymous parties.
Yeah, for sure.
Agora Desk is interesting because it supports a wider range of cryptocurrencies,
Okay.
including privacy coins like Monero,
Okay.
which we'll get to later.
Right.
So if you're looking for options beyond just Bitcoin, they might be a good choice.
So we've got our secret tunnel platform,
Wow.
our safety net platform, and our diverse options platform.
Right.
It's like choosing your fighter in a Bitcoin anonymity tournament.
You could say that.
Right.
But real talk,
Mm-hmm.
Even on these platforms, you got to be careful, right?
Oh, absolutely. Vigilance is key. You're still dealing with anonymous individuals. So, you know, carefully vet your trading partners.
Right.
Choose reputable platforms.
Don't let the allure of anonymity make you careless.
Good point. It's like any online marketplace buyer, beware.
Exactly.
All right, I'm ready for method number 3.
Okay.
Let's hear about these privacy coins.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Privacy coins, like Monero,
Uh-huh.
are specifically designed to make transactions untraceable.
Oh, wow.
Imagine sending a postcard with a secret code that only the recipient knows how to decipher.
Oh.
That's essentially what Monero does with your Bitcoin transactions.
Gotcha.
It uses advanced cryptography to shield the sender, the receiver, and even the amount of the transaction.
Yeah.
It's like a digital cloak of invisibility for your Bitcoin.
That's next level anonymity.
Yeah.
So using Monero is like sending my Bitcoin through a black hole
Kind of.
where it disappears from view and then reappears safely in the recipient's wallet.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Well, it's not magic, but it's pretty close. Monero utilizes a combination of techniques like ring signatures and stealth addresses
Uh-huh.
to make transactions virtually untraceable.
Okay, I'll admit I'm a little lost in the technical weeds here.
Yeah.
But the takeaway is, if I want true Bitcoin anonymity,
Right.
Monero is the way to go.
It's certainly one of the most robust options available.
Okay.
But remember, even with Monero, it's important to practice good security hygiene.
Great.
The article also mentions using a VPN as an added layer of protection.
Right, VPNs. Those are like private browsing modes,
But
but for your whole internet connection.
exactly. A VPN encrypts your internet traffic and masks your IP address,
Okay.
making it much harder for anyone to snoop on your online activity.
So it's like wearing a disguise while you're browsing the web.
Yeah,
Even when using those anonymous platforms we talked about.
precisely.
Yeah.
It's about minimizing your digital footprint
Uh-huh.
and making it as difficult as possible to link your online actions back to your real-world identity.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like a digital secret agent here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our secret platforms, our
Right.
privacy coins, our VPN disguises. What else do we need for our anonymous Bitcoin mission?
The final, and arguably the most important step, is securing your Bitcoin once you've acquired it.
Okay.
This is where hardware wallets come in.
Okay.
Think of them as the Fort Knox of the digital world.
Oh, I've heard of those little gadgets that look like USB drives.
That's them hardware wallets store your Bitcoin offline,
Right?
completely isolated from the internet.
Gotcha.
This means your private keys, which are essentially the passwords to your Bitcoin,
Uh-huh.
are safe from hackers and malware.
So even if my computer gets hacked,
Right.
my Bitcoin is still safe
Exactly.
because it's locked away in this offline vault.
As long as you physically secure your hardware wallet
Yeah.
and keep your seed phrase, which is like a master password, safe,
Gotcha.
your Bitcoin is as secure as it can be.
Okay, so hardware wallets are a must-have for any serious Bitcoin holder,
I would say so.
regardless of how they acquired it.
Yes.
But I've also heard about this thing called wallet diversification. Is that necessary too?
It's a wise strategy. Think of it like diversifying your investment portfolio.
Right.
You wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Makes sense. So instead of keeping all my Bitcoin in one wallet,
Right.
I should spread it out across multiple wallets for added security.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could have one wallet for everyday spending,
Okay.
one for long-term savings, and maybe even one specifically for your anonymous Bitcoin.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we have.
We've got our methods for buying Bitcoin anonymously,
Uh-huh.
DEXs, P2P platforms, and privacy coins.
Right.
We've got our VPN disguises,
Mm-hmm.
our Fort Knox hardware wallets, and our diversified wallet strategy.
Yeah?
It sounds like a lot of work.
It's definitely not as simple as buying Bitcoin on a mainstream exchange.
Right.
But for those who value their financial privacy, the effort is worth it.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that. But you know what I'm really curious about?
Okay.
What can you actually DO with anonymous Bitcoin?
That's a great question.
Is it just a way to like hide money? Or are there real world uses for it?
That's where the real excitement begins.
Yeah.
Anonymous Bitcoin opens up a world of possibilities.
Like what? Give me some examples.
For starters, you can use it to make purchases online,
Okay.
and even in some brick-and-mortar stores that accept Bitcoin directly.
So I could buy things without anyone knowing it's me.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And not just material things. You can also use it to make donations to causes you believe in
Oh, wow.
without revealing your identity.
That's a great point, like supporting whistleblowers or dissidents
Right.
in countries with oppressive regimes
Right.
where anonymity could be crucial for their safety.
Absolutely. And as more and more merchants adopt Bitcoin, the possibilities will only expand.
It's like a whole parallel economy emerging right under our noses.
It is.
But this also raises some questions for me.
Okay.
If more and more people start using Bitcoin anonymously, couldn't that create problems for governments?
That's the dilemma, isn't it? Governments are understandably concerned about the potential for illicit activities like money laundering and tax evasion.
Right, because if transactions are untraceable, how can they track where the money is going?
Yeah,
And who's paying taxes on it?
exactly. It creates a tension between the desire for individual privacy and the need for government oversight.
It sounds like a cat and mouse game.
It is.
As governments try to crack down on anonymity, people will find new ways to stay one step ahead.
That's the nature of innovation, especially in the world of technology.
Yeah.
And the outcome of this tug of war is far from certain.
So it's like a constant race to stay ahead of the curve, both for those seeking privacy and those trying to maintain control.
Right.
But I have to ask, is all this focus on anonymity just about avoiding taxes?
Oh.
Or hiding illegal activities?
Not at all. There are plenty of legitimate reasons why someone might prioritize financial privacy.
Like what?
Well, think about it. Your financial transactions can reveal a lot about your life. Your political affiliations,
Oh.
your religious beliefs, even your medical conditions.
Wow.
In a world where data is constantly being collected and analyzed,
Right.
it's understandable that some people would want to keep that information private.
That makes sense. It's like wanting to keep your personal diary under lock and key.
Exactly.
Not because you're doing anything wrong, but simply because it's personal.
Right. And there's a historical precedent for this.
Yeah.
Anonymous cash transactions have always been a part of our society.
True.
People use cash for all sorts of reasons,
Yeah.
from buying a cup of coffee
Right.
to making a large purchase at a flea market.
Uh-huh.
Bitcoin, in a way, is just a digital version of cash.
So anonymous Bitcoin is like having digital cash that can be used in the online world.
Exactly.
That opens up a lot of possibilities.
It does.
But it also raises some ethical questions, doesn't it?
It does. And this is where the conversation gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because while there are legitimate reasons for wanting financial privacy, there are also concerns about the potential for abuse.
Like using anonymous Bitcoin to fund criminal activities or avoid paying taxes.
Those are valid concerns. And it's a challenge for policymakers to strike a balance between protecting individual privacy and preventing criminal activity.
It feels like a tightrope walk.
It is.
Too much regulation and you stifle innovation and individual freedom. Too little regulation and you create opportunities for bad actors.
Exactly. And the debate is likely to continue as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies become more widely adopted.
But let's zoom out for a second.
Oh, okay.
This whole concept of financial privacy,
Yeah.
it feels like it's part of a much larger trend.
Absolutely. We're seeing a growing awareness of data privacy issues across the board.
Yeah.
From social media to online shopping to healthcare.
Everywhere.
People are starting to realize that their personal information has value and that it's being collected and used in ways they may not be comfortable with.
It's like we're waking up to the fact that our digital footprints are being tracked and analyzed constantly.
Right.
And anonymous Bitcoin is one way to push back against that.
It's a tool that can empower individuals to take control of their financial data
Okay.
and make choices about how that information is used.
Okay, so let's say someone has successfully bought Bitcoin anonymously. They've got their secure wallet set up. They're feeling good about their privacy.
Right.
What's next? What can they actually do with this anonymous Bitcoin?
That's where the real excitement begins. Anonymous Bitcoin opens up a world of possibilities,
Okay.
especially in a digital economy that's becoming increasingly reliant on tracking and surveillance.
Yeah, that's true. It's like having a secret stash of digital cash that can't be traced back to you.
Right.
But how do you actually use it without blowing your cover?
Well, there's a growing number of merchants, both online and offline, who accept Bitcoin directly.
Okay.
You can buy goods and services, make donations, even invest in other cryptocurrencies,
Wow.
all while maintaining your privacy.
So it's becoming more and more integrated into the mainstream economy?
It is. And that's why this conversation about privacy and anonymity is so important.
Yeah.
As Bitcoin gains wider adoption, the question of how to use it privately becomes even more relevant.
It's like we're at a crossroads. We can choose to embrace a financial system that's transparent and traceable,
Right.
or we can explore alternatives that prioritize individual freedom and privacy.
And that choice is becoming increasingly significant in a world where data is the new currency.
So what does all of this mean for the future of Bitcoin?
Hmm,
Do you think anonymity will become more prevalent?
it's hard to say.
Or will regulation eventually force everyone to comply with KYC?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Hmm.
The beauty of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized and resistant to censorship.
Right.
Even if governments try to crack down on anonymity, there will always be those who find ways to circumvent those restrictions.
It's like a constant tug of war between control and freedom.
Exactly. And that tension is what makes this space so dynamic and fascinating to observe.
It's like a social experiment playing out in real time.
It is. And the outcome is far from certain.
It really feels like we're on the cusp of something big. This whole idea of financial privacy, it's not just about hiding shady dealings anymore.
Right.
It's about taking back control of our personal information in a world where it's constantly being collected and commodified.
Yeah. Bitcoin and the technology behind it has the potential to disrupt the very foundations of our financial system. It's forcing us to rethink how we define privacy and security, and even freedom in the digital age.
So we've explored the HOW, the methods for buying Bitcoin anonymously.
Right.
We've touched on the WHY, the motivations behind seeking financial privacy. But this brings up a big question for me. What are the broader implications of all of this? If more and more people start operating outside the traditional financial system,
Right.
how does that impact society as a whole?
That's the question that keeps a lot of experts up at night.
Yeah.
And there are no easy answers. On the one hand, increased financial privacy could empower individuals, protect them from censorship, and even foster innovation.
It's like a digital version of financial freedom.
Exactly. But on the other hand, there are concerns about illicit activities flourishing in the shadows.
Right.
Governments worry about tax evasion, money laundering, and the funding of terrorism.
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
It is.
Trying to find that sweet spot between individual freedom and societal security.
Exactly. And the debate is only going to intensify as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies gain wider adoption.
So where do we go from here? What's the next chapter in this story of anonymous Bitcoin and financial privacy?
That's what I'm so eager to see unfold. Will we see a future where privacy-enhancing technologies become mainstream, integrated into our everyday lives?
Yeah.
Or will governments crack down, pushing anonymous transactions further underground?
It's like we're standing at a fork in the road. And the choices we make today will have a profound impact on the financial landscape of tomorrow.
And that, my friend, is what makes this topic so fascinating. We've explored the how-to, delved into the motivations and methods, and grappled with the wider implications.
Right.
But ultimately, it's up to each individual to determine where they stand on this issue.
To weigh the benefits of privacy against the potential risks, to figure out their own comfort level with operating outside the traditional financial system.
Exactly.
And that, I think, is a pretty empowering thought.
It is. It's a reminder that we have a choice in this digital world.
Yeah.
We can be passive consumers of technology, or we can actively shape its evolution to better reflect our values.
So to you listening out there, taking all this in, maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information.
Yeah.
Here's something to chew on as you continue your own exploration of this fascinating topic. What if instead of seeing anonymity as something to be feared or controlled, we embraced it as a fundamental human right in the digital age?
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
A world where financial privacy is not a privilege reserved for the few, but a basic expectation for all.
It's a bold vision, but definitely one worth considering as we navigate the uncharted waters of this rapidly evolving digital landscape. Keep those questions coming. Stay curious, and most importantly, stay informed. Until next time, fellow deep divers.
It really does feel like we're at a turning point. You know, this whole idea of financial privacy, it's not just about like hiding shady dealings anymore.
Right.
It's about taking back control of our personal information in a world where like it's constantly being collected and, you know, bought and sold.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is that Bitcoin and the technology behind it, it has the potential to like disrupt the very foundations of our financial system. It's forcing us to rethink, you know, how we define privacy and security and even freedom in the digital age.
Yeah, so we've explored the HOW, like the methods for buying Bitcoin anonymously.
Yeah, right.
We've touched on the WHY, the motivations behind seeking financial privacy. But this brings up a big question for me. What are the like broader implications of all this? If more and more people start operating outside the traditional financial system, how does that impact society as a whole? That's the question that keeps a lot of experts up at night. And there are no easy answers. On the one hand, increased financial privacy could empower individuals, protect them from censorship, and even foster innovation.
It's like a digital version of financial freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there are concerns about illicit activities flourishing in the shadows. Governments worry about tax evasion, money laundering, and the funding of terrorism.
Right, so it's like a balancing act.
It is.
Trying to find that sweet spot between individual freedom and societal security.
Yeah, trying to find that balance is going to be the challenge. And the debate is only going to intensify as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies gain wider adoption.
So where do we go from here? What's the next chapter in this story of anonymous Bitcoin and financial privacy?
Well, that's what I'm so eager to see unfold. Will we see a future where these privacy-enhancing technologies become mainstream, integrated into our everyday lives? Or will governments crack down, pushing anonymous transactions further underground?
It's like we're standing at a fork in the road, and the choices we make today will have a huge impact on the financial landscape of tomorrow.
And that, my friend, is what makes this topic so fascinating. We've explored the how-to, delved into the motivations and methods, and grappled with the wider implications. But ultimately, it's up to each individual to determine where they stand on this issue.
To weigh the benefits of privacy against the potential risks, to figure out their own comfort level with operating outside the traditional financial system. And that, I think, is a pretty empowering thought.
It is. It's a reminder that we have a choice in this digital world. We can be passive consumers of technology, or we can actively shape its evolution to better reflect our values.
So to you listening out there, taking all this in, maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information. Here's something to chew on as you continue your own exploration of this fascinating topic. What if instead of seeing anonymity as something to be feared or controlled, we embraced it as a fundamental human right in the digital age?
That's a powerful idea. A world where financial privacy is not a privilege reserved for the few, but a basic expectation for all.
It's a bold vision, but definitely one worth considering as we navigate the uncharted waters of this rapidly evolving digital landscape. Keep those questions coming, stay curious, and most importantly, stay informed. Until next time, fellow deep divers,